Be empowered. Be strong. Take charge. Speak life. Live life abundantly. Get with it now. You are now entering the chat room. Health Chat with Coach Jean, that is, where we debate, debunk, educate, empower, impart, and raise awareness on all things related to health, healing, and holistic well-being, body, mind, and spirit. Let's go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode here in the chat room, Health Chat with Coach Jean, that is, and I am your girl, your hostess with the mostest, health awareness, education, and information in media, Nurse Coach Jean Turner, here in the ATL, Atlanta, Georgia, USA. Thank you so much for just joining us. You may be live streaming from wherever you are. Thank you for joining us via live stream, or if you're listening to me and you're listening to me after the live stream and you're listening to the replay, thank you. Thank you for downloading and taking time out to join us here in the chat room for another week. And we thank and praise God for yet another week. I cannot believe how fast the time is going. I mean, we are already over halfway through this first month of this brand new year, 2022. I don't know where the time goes, do you? But I'm just thankful to be here. You know, we're living in a time where there's so much loss, death, and dying. You know, people around us are losing loved ones. Maybe some of you all have lost loved ones. I've recently lost a loved one 4 days into the new year. And so, you know, every day is a gift. You know, let's love one another as God loves us. First of all, loving him with all of our heart, mind, and soul and spirit. And then loving one another, our neighbors, as we love ourselves. And so, look, I want to go ahead and pray and get it popping because I'm really excited about my guest joining me here in the chat room for this week. So let's go ahead. You know how we do here in Health Chat with Coach Jean. Let's pray and go ahead and get it popping. Most gracious Father, in the name of your precious Son, Jesus, we thank and praise you for another day of life, another opportunity to just be able to say thank you, to come before you and just praise you and give you glory. We thank you for the gift of health and strength. We thank you for family and friends. We just thank you for all the many blessings, past, present, and even future blessings, because we know that you're working behind the scenes. I ask and pray that you would forgive us all of our sin and cleanse us from all sin and all unrighteousness. Father, in your precious Son, Jesus' name, create in us a clean heart and renew a right spirit within each and every one of us. And I pray that this week's episode and all that is shared and said will bless every listener, both now, those who are live streaming, and those who will catch the replay. And it's in your precious Son's name I do ask and pray. Amen, amen, and amen. And so I got the cue from my producer, Mr. Jerry Royce Live. Hey, Batman, that my guest is right here waiting in the green room. So without further ado, I am so excited because tonight, this week, for this episode, we're going to have a wellness conversation with one of the top 5 entrepreneurs to watch for this year in accordance with USA Today. And we're all familiar with USA Today, but my guest was named one of the top 5 entrepreneurs to watch. She is none other than Dr. Marcia B Whitaker out of the Maryland DMV area. And so I'm going to let her tell you about her. So without further ado, Dr. Marcia, are you in the virtual building, my friend?
I am here. Hello, Coach Jean. It is so good to be on your show. Thank you so, so much. I love you. I love your energy. I love what you're bringing to the stage, to the platform, and to the world. So just a little bit about me. I am Dr. Marcia Whitaker, and I am a physician as well as a life coach. And I have the pleasure, I have the awesome responsibility of coaching women who have felt trapped in their personal prison of life. And I help them to first figure out, discover who they are, decide what they want, and then I help them deliver on their destiny.
Wow. And you know what, Dr. Marcia, I love that. I love that because it did not become apparent to me until probably the last 2 years, maybe almost 2 years, that there are a lot of women who are feeling trapped in relationships, trapped in marriages, trapped, in their careers, feeling like they cannot progress in their careers, just in various areas of their life. So, especially now with everything going on, this pandemic and God knows what else, so much else going on in the world. But tell us a little bit about that. Like, what are some of the things that many women feel trapped in and are dealing with right now?
Yes, absolutely. So that feeling trapped is something that is very common. And I would probably say that each woman, every woman, has something that they feel trapped in. And I work with professional women mainly. And with that professional woman issue, I'm going to say who they are. They have been successful in a lot of areas of their life. But then there's always that one area, or maybe it's two areas, where we struggle, where we're trying to figure it out, and we just don't know the answer. That particular area, it doesn't fit the mold for how we've been successful in the other areas. And so when we've had success in certain areas, but then we have, it's pretty much failure, right? We fail in other areas. We're trying to use the same process and it's not working. And that is what makes us feel trapped. And that could be in your home, in your marriage, with the relationship with your kids. It could be at your 9 to 5. It could be with other family members. Maybe you're the youngest. And so there's that, the way that the family, the paradigm or how that works, you always, no matter how old you are, you may feel like the baby. Or there's a whole host of other areas where we also may feel trapped.
Wow. You know what? Wow. It's funny we're having this conversation, Dr. Marcia, because earlier today, and, my listeners know that I'm very transparent, especially if I believe it'll help somebody else. Earlier today, I felt like I was having a little meltdown, right? I got very emotional about, some things that I'm working on now, that God has me working on now. And looking back over my life, especially from teenage years on up, I've been very successful. Like everything I've done, successful military career, successful nursing career, just successful. Granted, I failed at my first marriage. Okay, whatever. But, things happen. But when you've had so many successes, right, and then a failure comes, something that you don't do so well in, it can really hit you hard and be kind of devastating for a lot of people, especially women, because we're emotional anyway, right? And so, would you agree that when that one failure or thing happens, we are quick to blame ourselves, right? And just it can cause us to have a meltdown.
It can, absolutely. And the thing that happens is that we don't think that we should fail. We don't think we can fail. And I think that's a core problem. Because if you look at those, like, let's say in business, right, successful businessmen and women, by the time they have their successful business, they have failed at some unsuccessful businesses. In our culture, we tend to always want to win. But the way that you get to your biggest wins is by having some failures along the way. And I think that's a key point. It's okay to fail, because failing is actually finding. It's finding your way through it so you can get to your next.
Wow, I like that. Failure is actually finding your way so you can get to your next. Hashtag that. If you're a live stream, hashtag that one. I like that. Love that.
Yeah.
Marcia. I love that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to hashtag that tonight. We get off the line. I'm gonna have to hashtag that. Failure is finding. Say that last thought. Failure is finding.
It's finding, and that's how you get to your next.
Yeah. Yeah. Failure is finding your way to your next. I got it now. That's a hashtag right there for you. I'm gonna have to hashtag that, right?
But part of that also is that we've been taught that we can't fail.
That's true. That is true. I remember growing up, and I tell my age because I'm transparent. So I'm a product of the 60s, born in 1963. And 60s and 70s, back then where most women, right, was homemakers, they was home with the kids. When I got in high school in the mid to late 70s, that's when this whole "you come a long way, baby," Virginia Slim cigarette commercial, "you come a long way, baby," and women was really starting to want to branch out and get their careers. And I remember that song, it was a hit, "Career Girl in a Man's World." But we were taught, you don't do this, you don't do that, that's not for women to do. But then in the same sentence, it was, when you do something, you do it, and you don't fail, and you don't quit. So it was kind of like, come on now, you kind of confusing me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Which one is it? And so, yeah. But you also speak at women's conferences, a lot of women's conferences. So I'm just curious, because what is your top two speaker topics? And because I could imagine one of them is at least related to this topic, what we're talking about now, ain't it?
Well, I tend to, the being trapped and failure is a core topic in the coaching space that I'm in. When I tend to speak, I speak about becoming the X factor. And we think that the X factor is that thing that's elusive, that only certain celebrities have. And I mean, who comes to mind when I say who has the X factor?
Beyonce.
Beyonce, yeah.
I really don't really know a lot of these, to tell you, but that's the one that pops into my mind.
Yes, and also for me, Oprah, Michael Jordan, LeBron, right? Even Tiffany Haddish, most recently, right?
Right.
And when you go into their stories, what you realize is they had a journey from a place that wasn't so pretty. And so when you think about them, yes, they maybe have blown up, in recent years, but they weren't born that way. It wasn't something that they were necessarily taught in school or in a class, right? It wasn't one particular experience that led them here. It was their whole journey, and them deciding that they wanted more, that something had to be different. And so through that, they now became the X factor. And so my message is that we are our own X factor, but we just have to tap into it. We just have to believe that we are. When we're not going to copy what someone else did, But there are some principles, there are some pathways, there are some nuggets that we can take away, that we can apply to our own life, that then opens us up to whatever is behind the next door.
Wow. I love that. I love that. So let me ask you this, Dr. Marcia, because you're a life coach, and I'm sure this falls under your life coaching packet. What led you to become a life coach, and how are you incorporating that in your medical practice, or do you, or is it two separate entities?
Well, that's a great question. So as a physician, what we are taught to do is to be very prescriptive, right? Someone comes in and they have high blood pressure, and we may ask them a few questions, but we're taught that if you repeat the blood pressure on, two separate occasions after the patient's been sitting for, a while, this, now it's like, what, now we have to do something. Now we have to have some intervention. Yes, we could try diet and exercise for a couple of weeks, maybe a month. But if it's still high when you come back, now I'm giving you some medicine.
Right.
When you look at it from a coaching perspective, because I'm also a health coach, so if you look at it from a coaching perspective, it's now asking the patient or the client, what do you think about your blood pressure? What is it that you want for it? What are you willing to do? What do you want to do? And so when you realize they don't really want medicine, they'd rather, they have been eating a little bit too much salt. They don't exercise, but they hate exercising, so that's not even an option. And then you get to them and say, you know what, I'm willing to go to see a nutritionist. I want to work this a different way, or actually I want to use this apple cider vinegar, or I want to do these other things. And so what we're doing is we're motivating them to come up with their own solution, as opposed to someone telling you what you're going to do next. And that opens up their whole world, because now you're not making them do something. They're doing it because it's something that there's a why, there's a deeper reason why they want to do something. And so that same concept can be applied to any other area of life. It can be applied to a career change. It can be applied to a relationship. It can be applied to your budget and, your financial wellness. All those things are all connected. And we focus on needle movers. It's those things, it's that thing that causes the other things to fall into place. For example, for me, for my health and my exercise and eating, the thing that is my needle mover is exercising. If once I exercise, now I'm more conscious about what I put in my body. I'm conscious about my water intake. I'm conscious about all the other things. And so once I get that exercise going, now I'm in a whole different mind space, and everything else is working.
Yes, I love that. You hit on some key things, because I totally agree. Because me, board certified holistic nurse and nurse wellness coach, that it's more of a partnership, with the whole health coaching aspect of it. It's a partnership. It's about developing that partnership and your client or your patient, right, feeling that they are a part of the decision-making process, which I know at least in military medicine that we tried that, we tried that for years, right? We got away from that whole, what do you call it, that transactional type thing to more like, okay, now let's just work together on this. Let's form this partnership, build this relationship, build trust. And, what is it would you like to see? What is your why? What do you want to see happen? And it helps them to be more in control. You feel like they're a part of their care plan and that they have more control, as opposed to being like you said, instead of that dictatorship, look, we're going to do this, and this. Here's this pill. Take it 3 times a day and stand on top of your head and and do these acrobats, right? And look forward to the course of action that patient or client wants to take. And I love that. I totally agree. So basically, the health coach, life coach, you do incorporate all of that in your medical practice.
So yes, however, it's more difficult because it takes longer, right? It takes longer to get into all of the coaching part. And so with the limited visit time, it's more challenging. And so I tend not to do a whole lot of both, but I do concepts.
Okay. I did, yeah, because unfortunately, especially, with insurance companies and all these other entities, it's only but so much time in the day, so many hours in the day. You have a full patient panel, and yeah, so I get that. I do get that. So do you find yourself doing, you're running your medical practice, but as far as your coaching goes with your health and life coaching, are you doing that more so either after hours or weekends maybe? Do you find yourself working more now doing the health and life coaching?
So, yes, I work more. So, and then the other piece is that my main, as far as seeing patients, that's not my main 9 to 5. So most of my time most of my free time is spent doing the life coaching. And I find that working with life issues is also the needle mover for the health piece. There's a concept that says we are overnourished with food and undernourished in every other area of our life. And so it isn't the food or overeating or overindulging. That's because we haven't tapped into all of the other aspects of our lives, like the arts, like maybe reading, maybe it's grounding, maybe it's spirituality. It's all those other things that we have put on a shelf many years ago, and we haven't gotten back to it. And so what we do is we sit around and veg and do other unhealthy practices because we haven't tapped into the other pieces.
And that's key, though. There has to be, this goes into there has to be some balance, right? Because, we got to enjoy life, right? The Creator came that we would have life, have it abundantly. There's so much beauty in the earth. I know we're in the midst of a pandemic and there's so much crazy going on. But like you said, the art, a good book, a nice just chillaxing with a glass of wine, taking time out to watch a movie, walking through nature. I love to walk through nature. We have so many trails here in the Atlanta area. I love to get out there sometime and just walk and see the deer run up alongside of me and scare the crap out of me. But nevertheless, we got to take time out for that stuff. And I believe that when we take time out for those things, take time out to enjoy life, it can't be about working and grinding and building all the time, at least in my opinion. And, I will admit, after my sonly health crisis in 2018 and 2019, my whole attitude has changed, But it's more to life than that. And if we just find that even keel or that balance and do something we enjoy, it's the museum and the art. Look, I love to get lost in a good book. A good book can take my mind to wherever the characters are in that book, and I'm lost in a whole nother world. But for that moment, it takes my mind off of everything I got to do, had to do, or whatever else. So I love that you brought that up, Dr. Marcia, and we have to take more time out to do those type of things, I believe, and that's going to help our overall, I believe, health and well-being when we take time out to do things like that, do things we enjoy, you know, and I don't think too many people take time out to do that because they're so busy grinding and working and building and all those things. All those things.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow. So let me ask you this. What made you, like, did you grow up saying I want to be a doctor? What led you to your journey to being a doctor?
So when I was coming up, I thought I wanted to be a pediatrician. I had my best friend is actually a pediatrician, and when we were in school, we decided, or we both individually decided, that we wanted to become doctors. We wanted to help others through medicine, through science. I was really good at science, and it was like a no-brainer. It's like, I want to be a doctor. And it just so happened that during my training, when I was on the pediatric rotations, I saw a lot of sick kids. And the kids can't tell you what's wrong with them. All they know is crying, and they may be able to point, but they can't actually say it. And I tended to like adults because they could say what's wrong. That at least gives me some clues as to where to start looking. And so I tended to sway towards internal medicine, and that's what I'm boarded in, is internal medicine. And so that's kind of how I got to where I am today.
Wow, okay. Because, yeah, you know, a lot of people grow up saying, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a nurse. That wasn't me. I didn't grow up saying I wanted to be a nurse. I was supposed to be a legal secretary on Wall Street.
Okay.
You know,
and how did that turn around?
Let me tell you. More on that story after this 30-second ad from our sponsor for this week's episode. So hold that thought, Dr. Marcia. And if you are live streaming, just stay tuned. Health Chat with Coach Jean will be right back.
The year 2021 is pretty much a wrap, but that's okay. Nurse Coach Jean Turner is coming at you strong as the visionary and host of the Balanced Woman Health Summit 2022. This power-packed event offers 2 stages of the best and brightest to help push you to achieving optimal balance. The Balanced Woman Health Summit 2022 is a virtual event that takes place Saturday, January 29th, and there is room for you. Share your expertise as a speaker, share your resources as a partner. Share this experience as an ambassador, or simply take it all in and start the year off right as a registrant. Full details are available at thebalancedwoman.life. Again, that's thebalancedwoman.life. The Balanced Woman Health Summit 2022. Your health depends on it. This event is a Health Chat with Coach Jean radio show and global podcast production.
www.thebalancedwoman.life. We're looking for women and the men in our lives who are feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, tired, sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you are looking to make 2022 the year that you begin to work on your wellness goals, improve your health, and just become a healthier, happier, more balanced you, not just in 2022, but beyond. So, again, it is www.thebalancedwoman.life. So, Dr. Marcia, let me just say this. When I was growing up, you were either a homemaker, wife, mother, or you was a secretary, okay? So I started out, I went to college there in New York City. It was really a technical college. And I took stenography, and I sucked at it. I couldn't get that together for nothing, to be honest. But, that didn't stop me. I was a really, really good clerk typist, to type really fast. And My first job out of high school was at One World Trade Center. I was a clerk typist for a bunch of insurance brokers while I was in school. And then got married, and my then husband was in the military. We got stationed somewhere to where I couldn't get a job as a clerk typist, so I took a CNA course, Certified Nursing Assistant course, and found out that I really loved helping people when they was at their most vulnerable like that, right? That whole healthcare setting. So I went back and got my nursing degree, and the rest is history. But no, I was supposed to be a legal secretary. That was what I was supposed to be. Girl, I just wanted to look cute, dress up, look cute, and go work in a high-end office somewhere in Manhattan. That was my whole goal. Oh, my goodness, because I wanted to just look. I was all about dressing up and being cute. That's what I wanted to do. But anyway, interesting. So, no, unlike you, it was not my goal to be a nurse when I was growing up. But, you know, things happen, and I believe God steers us in the direction that he created us to go in for his purpose, his plan, and his will for our lives.
Yeah. And
so how does it feel when you got the news that you were one of the top 5 entrepreneurs to watch for in USA Today? What was that like? Like, how did you get that news? Like, I mean, it's dope. Don't get me wrong. It's real dope. And I am happy and proud of you. But, what was that journey to that? And when you got the news?
Right. It was amazing. It was really a great feeling. A lot of times we are working hard, and you mentioned like grinding, right? You're working hard, and you don't really know if what you're doing is working. And to be recognized was really an awesome event. And so the article is actually the top 15 entrepreneurs, and I'm listed as number 5. And so when just with the other entrepreneurs on the list, it was an honor. It was, regardless of what number, I came in as, it was an honor to be recognized and even though we're not looking for external validation, because it should come from within, but there is some confirmation once something like that happens. You're like, you know what, I am doing something good. I am reaching who I want and need to reach. And what this does, it helps me to reach more women, more people.
Right. That, you know what, to me, my interpretation, what you just said, was God's peck on the cheek. He's giving you a peck, a kiss on the cheek to let you know, well done, my daughter. You are going down the path that I have purposed for you to go down. You are helping and reaching those I have purposed you to reach, and just giving you that confirmation, because this is an honor right here. I'm like, whoa. I don't know, for some reason, okay, so you were number 5 on the list. I thought I saw the article and it said top 5 to watch for, but it's top 15. But you number 5, like, oh my God, that's so dope. So congratulations to you. And
Thank you.
For real. My hat's off to you. Congratulations. That is so dope. And look, I'm gonna switch gears right now, real quick, and just talk a little bit about the upcoming Balanced Women Health Summit in a few moments that we have left. You are our keynote speaker, and I just want to thank you for saying yes, but you are you are our keynote speaker, and I want you to just share with our listeners, those currently live streaming as well as those who are going to download, this episode. Just give them a snippet of your topic and what you're going to be speaking on as our keynote.
Yes. First, I am just so excited to be just on the platform for your summit. And the topic that I am coming from, it is entitled Walking the Tightrope, Finding Balance in an Unbalanced World. And as I prepared for this message, I find that we are in this health realm, and we are trying to balance so many different things. And we're trying to balance what it is that we need and what our family members, what the people who we are serving need. And we are thinking that we have to choose because there's no way to do them both. And so what I'm sharing in this session is how to find the balance as you are teeter-tottering between these two worlds.
And a lot of that takes prioritizing, right? We have to figure out what is priority for us as individuals and not only prioritizing, but I think sometimes, Dr. Marcia, we try to do too much all at the same time. We try to take on too much all at the same time. And priority is we've got to learn how to prioritize those top 2, maybe 3 things and just try to even that out first. You know what I'm saying? Before we try to take on so many different things. So I think priority, like with anything, right? With our health, with our walk with the Creator, with our family, you know, we've got to prioritize. What are the priorities? You know, I have this conversation a lot, especially lately. It seems to be a recurring theme, you know, especially when we just entered a new year, you know, first month of the new year with people making these New Year's resolutions. Oh, I resolved to do X, Y, C, D, all the way to Z, right? But we just got to prioritize because no one, look, we are human. We're not going to get it right all the time. We're not perfect, but it takes prioritizing so that we don't, you know, and we know we talked about earlier about that failing sometimes. Sometimes we may fail because we're trying to do too many things at the same time, and it just becomes too much. What do you think?
Absolutely. I definitely agree with you with the prioritizing, but I think there's also a deeper issue when we talk about the things that we want. Frequently, we want what other people want. For example, let's say fashion industry, right? We want because back in the day, you remember they had the low riding kind of jeans, and you couldn't go if you were one of a mom jean, you couldn't find a mom jean because everything was those low riders, right? Now apparently the jeans are the high waisted ones, and so if you are following the trends of what other people want, you're going to find yourself getting that high-dollar bag, and when you get home, your life hasn't changed. Actually, it's changed for the worse because now you have to pay for it, or now you don't have the money to buy the other stuff that you need. And so there is some grounding that needs to happen first for you to actually assess what it is that you really want. And if we get there, that's I think the first step. Now we can take the next step in getting the thing that you really want.
Yeah, I like that grounding. We've got to be grounded, more rooted and grounded. Yeah, I like that. And you're so right. Sometimes we tend to want what other people want, or the other piece of that, we feel like, you know, that if something worked for someone else, surely it'll work for me if it worked for her, not realizing that that's not always the case, right? Because we are individuals.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I say all the time, even when it comes to health and well-being, you know, health is not just one-dimensional. And just because someone with diabetes reverse their diabetes doing this particular thing, you, because of your metabolism, might have to do something a little different than what this person here did, or someone wants to lose weight. Well, running, they ran 2 and 3 miles a day, and look all the weight they lost, and you don't even like to run. What is that? It's not going to work. It's not going to work.
Right. Look, I got one. Look, I got one better. And I'm not knocking it. I'm just using it as an example. Right, the whole Peloton craze. I think there's that idea that, you know what, if I get a Peloton, then I'm going to get in shape. And then you go and you spend however many $1,000s it is. It comes, and then you realize you don't even like riding a bike that much. And now it becomes a clothes hanger as opposed to a tool to get you where you think you need to be. Your thing may be going to do kickboxing. Your thing may be just walking. And I think just kind of, again, we're back to what is it that you want? What's going to make you successful as opposed to what you see other people doing.
That's right. Yeah, and you know what? That's a craze now. Seems like everybody on the Peloton kick, not knocking it. But if you don't like to ride a bike, why are you getting one? Like, wait, what are we doing here? So now what you done did, because they not cheap. So now there's a situation with your financial well-being, because you ain't got no well-being in your finances now, because you done spent thousands of dollars on that. And we know when your money's funny, you ain't got two nickels to rub together, that creates stress and anxiety. And then it's just a spiral of downward effect from that. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, yeah, I tell you the truth, but that's a good point. So, Dr. Marcia, I've enjoyed this conversation. I always enjoy our conversations, but we are winding down. I can't believe how fast the time goes. I would love for you to please share your contact information. How can our listeners get in touch with you? How can they connect with you?
Absolutely. I am the CEO and founder of Info Bloom Health and Life Coaching, and you can find me on the website, which is www.infobloomhlc.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Info Bloom Health and Life Coaching. I also have LinkedIn under Marcia Whitaker. I'm also on IG as Marcia Whitaker. I'm all over the place. I also have a link tree, which is Dr. Marcia B Whitaker.
I got to get with that link tree tip, because it's just like one-stop shopping all on one page, ain't it?
It is. I love it. There's another one, too, that's supposed to be good, but Sociotap or something like that. It just keeps everything in one place, and it helps those who are looking to find you.
Oh, wow. So, okay, I got to check that one out, too. Someone told me, and they right, I got to get more automated this year. But that's part of my intentional word God gave me for this year, be more intentional. So, yes, that's part of my being intentional this year. I've got to get more automated because I know we're in the midst of the pandemic. I pray that it starts to slow down. You know, we can get it more control, because I'm ready to travel. I was used to travel, and I'm just ready. I'm being wanderlust here. I'm ready to just go and do something besides being in my house working. I go up from upstairs downstairs to the office. I go out if I have to. Yeah, no. I'm ready to do something different, but I got to be more automated for when I am on the road, because I plan on being on the road quite a bit this year, God willing. But Dr. Marcia, I want to thank you. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join me for this episode of Health Chat with Coach Jean. I appreciate you so much. You have no idea. And you are always welcome to come back anytime.
Awesome.
And catch yourself on what you got going on. Yes, indeed. And to you, our listeners, Dr. Marcia Whitaker is our keynote speaker for the upcoming Balanced Woman Health Summit. This is a one-day free virtual transformational holistic health experience that will take place January 29th on the World Wide Web. Men, we looking for you too, because we got a whole men's health panel waiting on you. And so go register now, www.thebalancedwoman.life, LIFE. Register, secure your free spot in the virtual building, because it's going to be on and popping, a plethora of information from so many wonderful speakers. healthcare professionals, business professionals, just those with knowledge and expertise from all walks of life. My producer, the Batman of Charm City himself, Mr. Jerry Roycelive, will be joining us as well. He's going to share how he reversed his type 2 diabetes. So you don't want to miss it. That is www.thebalancedwoman.life. Again, special thanks to my guests, the awesome, phenomenal Dr. Marcia B Whitaker out of the DMV, AO here in the USA. Special shout out to my producer, the Batman of Charm City himself, Mr. Jerry Roycelive, and to you, our listeners, both here and overseas, wherever you may be tuning in from. Thank you for joining us here in the chat room for another episode of with your girl, Nurse Coach Jean. And until next time, if God says the same, peace and health.
The year 2021 is pretty much a wrap, but that's okay. Nurse Coach Jean Turner is coming at you strong as the visionary and host of the Balanced Woman Health Summit 2022. This power-packed event offers 2 stages of the best and brightest to help push you to achieving optimal balance. The Balanced Woman Health Summit 2022 is a virtual event that takes place Saturday, January 29th, and there is room for you. Share your expertise as a speaker, share your resources as a partner. Share this experience as an ambassador, or simply take it all in and start the year off right as a registrant. Full details are available at thebalancedwoman.life. Again, that's thebalancedwoman.life. The Balanced Woman Health Summit 2022. Your health depends on it. This event is a Health Chat with Coach Jean radio show and global podcast production.
Thank you for joining us for another episode here in the chat room. Health Chat with Coach Jean, that is. Until next time, if God says the same, I pray peace, health, love, and well-being for you and your family. God bless you.